Hey AJ,
What's up, man?
how's it going, dude?
Great. I figured out my own custom backwards compatibility for the PS5 or PSVR2 once
I
we
don't,
get them.
I don't
Those
think I
sweet
like where this is
things.
going. Your own custom, personal,
Yes.
no one else can use it.
I'm
It's
I'm
it's
gonna
all okay.
modify my
Yeah.
PS5
hmm
by duct taping my PS4 Pro to the side of it, and it'll be backwards compatible. Come on.
Yeah, I don't think I like this at all. I'm
Oh, okay.
not a fan. Not a fan. Hey AJ,
Hey,
suck my wire.
is it a wire now?
I mean, it's been called worse. Let's start the show. This is PSVR Gamescast Live, where we film live every single Monday, Wednesday, and thank God. I like pretending that I have a normal work schedule, and I'm like, oh, thank God it's Friday, as if it makes any difference in my world. My name is Brian Popnish, right here at PSVR without Parole, and this guy over here, Double Pop, AJ from the Underground, PSVR Underground.
What is up, Brian? What is up, Water Tigers? Happy Friday. And we are here to send you off into the weekend to do what Water Tigers do best.
What?
Which
What?
is what, Brian?
Yeah, what do water tigers do best? They must be called water tigers for a reason, right? Do they like to swim?
I think so. I'd imagine.
I don't know. How did you vote for this poll?
I clicked on the one that I wanted to choose.
Nice. That's a great answer. We got Bell Rammy the Game Cat in the chat with the €5. Says rock and stone.
Rock and Stone.
Yeah, I
I
have
don't know what
no
that
idea.
means.
I have no idea. But what are you gonna do? We also have Professor Lilith in chat with the $5 tip. Says bombshell bulletin. Beat stop not working. YouTube. Battlezone Beat Saber. Holy crap! Sunday, January 9th, multiplayer at 2 p.m. Eastern. Guys, listen. If you're not part of our Discord, make sure you click the link in the description below and go join our Discord. That's where all the cats hang out. You guys out there, you're called Game Cats. Like it or not, too bad. Dude,
It's
multiplayer
interesting that,
sessions.
yeah, multiplayer. And I would love to join you with Battlezone, but it doesn't work on PS5. And that's going to come into some stuff that I have to say when we get into that discussion.
Well, I mean, isn't your PlayStation 4 duct taped to your PlayStation 5?
I haven't done that yet. Patent
Okay.
pending, though.
Patent pending.
I
Awesome.
put a patent on it.
So make sure you join our Discord. Click the link in the description below, and then join us on Sunday, January 9th, for some Battlezone multiplayer. Holy crap! It
Great
is
game.
a little surprising
Great
it beat
game.
Beat Saber, huh? It's the better multiplayer game. I think that's easy to say.
True.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, man. Listen, want to give a quick shout out. Thank you to all the people that helped this channel run, especially the people over there on Patreon.com/Without Parole Games. They give us $1 or more every single month. We really appreciate you, and of course all the people who are tipping right now. We appreciate you too, and everyone just hanging out and watching the show. We appreciate you as well. But AJ, isn't there another group of people that we'd like to thank?
That's right. It is Friday. We need to give a quick shout out to those that support us in another way by changing their name to something GameCat related, or something GameCat adjacent, as you and something GameCat adjacent like to say. And this week, we have 3 new GameCats to welcome to the Gamecat Dojo. Starting with Fluk, the Swedish GameCat.
Bing. You didn't spell Game Cat right, but I'm okay with it.
I like it. It's like a
I like
Kit
it.
Kat bar. Maybe it's like Swedish chocolate GameCat.
Okay, maybe they just spell cat differently in the land of Swedes.
We've also got Markio, the Drifter GameCat.
Bing.
Can't wait to play some good PSVR 2 games with some good old drifting.
Is it Marcio or Marcio? I know
Maybe
people
it's-
name Marcio, but I've never actually seen their names spelled out.
I would think that's Io, but I don't know. We've also got an oldie but a goodie, Serial Killer, the GameCat, now with marshmallows.
Bing. Dude, marshmallows make everything better. It's like, I didn't know Serial Killer could be a better person than he was or a better cat than he was, but now that he's got marshmallows, I am all in, as if I wasn't before.
Just a heads up, if you're, it's cold outside around this time of year, and well, depending on where you live, where I am, it is. And if you decide to make a little campfire or something, and you want to get marshmallows, the store sells these marshmallows that they're like advertised as like specialty s'more marshmallows, and so they're kind of like pre-shaped into blocks. Don't get them. They're garbage, and they work. Like, it's amazing to me that they would design a marshmallow that's specifically supposed to be for s'mores, and they actually suck, like, really bad. What a letdown. What a stupid idea. Just saying. Just fair warning. Buy normal marshmallows for your s'mores.
Or marshmallow fluff, and just take a whole spoonful of it and like throw it into your hot chocolate. What? Wait, hold on a second. Are we really going to start this show?
This sounds like marshmallow fluff. Is that like the spread, the marshmallow spread?
Yeah.
That sounds awful. That reminds me of like Goober, when they take like the peanut butter and jelly like mixture. Like,
that's an abomination of nature. Don't even get me started on Goober. Dude, all right, dude, you can't even talk about Goober and marshmallow fluff in the same sentence.
Yeah, those are the same demographic. I'm sorry to break the news to you, but those are the same people that get that. Anyways, I think we got some PSVR stuff to talk about, don't we?
I mean, yeah, I guess. I don't know how to move on from that, except by saying thank you so much, Kill Artist 1, the Dreamweaver Gamecat with the $5 tip says, I made it happen. I made it to the show live. Now, when can I pre-order my PlayStation VR 2? That's a good question, Kill Artist.
Summer.
All right, good.
We'll get there.
We're knocking out these questions one by one already.
That's not an official answer.
We also got Your Long Shadows as a game cat meow with the 50 Nokia cell phone says Brian doesn't love us all anymore. He just appreciates us in quotes. PSVR 2 has entered the chat and it shows. I do love you all.
You have some defenders of the fluff marshmallow.
Thank you. I mean, what do you mean
Not
some
many.
Defenders? Everybody in the chat should be defending you now.
I think anybody that likes fluff marshmallows are in the chat today.
So ridiculous. So ridiculous. Remember, guys, if you change your name to Gamecat because you love us almost as much as I love you so much, I really do. Your Long Shadows, I really promise I do. Make sure. Then you change your name to Gamecat, and then you put in the comments on any of the videos, #Gamecat, to let us know you changed your name, and we can give you a shout out on next Friday's show. If you don't know, Gamecats are the loyal following of Without Parole.
Looper, the underground Gamecat elite name squad in the house, donates €2 and says, I'm ready for Marshmallow VR. Somebody's going to do that. Somebody's going to make a thing. Well, I've already played a couple games. You can do that in Bonfire. Anyways, 9 goddamn minutes, Brian. We still haven't started the show.
Perfect. We nailed it. That's so perfect.
Where going? Why does it go so fast? Can we not just have one small little conversation without 10 minutes passing by? This is crazy.
No,
Who's in charge of time?
That's how it works, man. We also got Mark Pringles with the 2 quid saying Ryan at IGN reckons PSVR 2 release date will be 2023. I mean, who trusts IGN?
We'll get into that. Well, yeah, I mean, IGN had some decent takes. Like,
Yep.
yeah, I think he's completely wrong, and we'll get into that. But IGN and beyond, Jonathan Dornbush does a great job over there.
Isn't Ryan the Xbox guy?
He is the Xbox guy. He is definitely the Xbox guy.
And that's where that conversation ends. All right,
Yeah.
moving on.
Never trust the Xbox guy.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's move along. And we got so many different PlayStation VR 2 topics to tackle. Over the last week, we've gotten a few new details. They've confirmed that the specs we leaked were 100% accurate, but they didn't really say all too much at CES. And then even revealing Horizon Call of the Mountain, they didn't really show us very much. And some people are all up in arms and ready to defend or bash the PSVR 2 before anything's really even been said. So that's what we're here to do today, man, is just talk about all the things that haven't been talked about yet.
Yes, that's right. PSVR 2 was announced officially as PSVR 2 earlier this week, and it is an exciting time for all of us. We also got a first look at the very first in-game PSVR 2 footage. Of course, flat screen never does it justice. You have to basically take whatever you saw from that Horizon thing and put yourself in there, and imagine all that stuff looking huge, and that'll give you a little preview. It's going to look good. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, we got a bunch of questions answered, but there are still a lot of questions that are still unknown, and we are going to share our thoughts and discuss a little bit and have some fun. I'll be looking for what you guys have to say about it as well, though there's a lot of you in here. I'll try to keep up. And that is starting with backwards compatibility. We do not know a definitive answer on this other than Sony has come out and said they have nothing to comment about it. And there are rumors online that have said before that they believe that they're from not really reputable sources have said that it will be backwards compatible. Thoughts, Brian?
I mean, best case scenario is that out of the box, you can just start up a PlayStation VR1 title, and somehow Sony has figured out a way to make sure that your new orb controllers / DualSense. Sense controllers.
I love that you called it orbs.
Dude, it's so tough. It's so tough to not say DualSense because I'm thinking I used to say I use dual moves.
DualSense controllers. I know.
But I also say I use dual moves to play a game. I use two moves, dual moves. And so now DualSense is like, no, that's the wrong controller. That doesn't make any sense. There was never anything called a dual move to confuse people. But anyway. Yeah, best case scenario, out of the box, Sony works some magic and behind the scenes makes everything work, right? And the orbs are able to be tracked by the headset in the same way that the move controllers were able to be tracked with the camera, and that would be best case scenario. I really don't think that's going to be the case though, because it just seems a little too complicated. I feel like there's a few too many things that need to be adjusted, and I don't really know if Sony wants. And I'm going out a little bit further than I wanted to with this statement, but I'm going to say it anyway. I don't know if Sony wants anybody's first experience with PlayStation VR2 to be a PSVR1 game. Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense. They've made it very clear that they want the PSVR 2 experience to be something along the lines of up to the standards that the PS5 has given. And, while I do think it would be awesome to have backwards compatibility, I don't think it's actually a complete necessity. And this is going to sound crazy, but I'm going to tell you why I think it might even be a good thing. And that is one of the reasons why. Just starting with the basics, like you said, there's a lot of, PlayStation has a history of, they don't have the best history of having backwards compatibility, but at the very least, usually they have the previous gen being backwards compatible with the next one.
Yeah, PS3, let's clarify this real quick. PS3 screwed everything up. Right, at launch, PlayStation 3 was actually compatible with 2 and 1, but then eventually it was only compatible with PlayStation 1. PlayStation 4 was difficult to make backwards compatible with the PlayStation 3, so that kind of getting in the middle of everything, it really threw everything for a loop. But yeah, for the most part, that seems to be the case.
Yeah. But this is a little bit more complex. Like, if they have a hard time running PS1 games or getting PS1 games to work on a PS5, which it's more because they're trying to integrate it into the service. There's probably different licensing issues, things like that, that they can't continue making money off of. So they just they just do it for the sake of. It'd be better for gamers, but it would also make the equipment more expensive. But converting PSVR 1 to making it backwards compatible to be playable on PSVR 2 is a lot more complex than that. I mean, the first thing you do is boot up the game, and what's the first thing that happens? Is that it tries to do the camera setup, and it's like, that it tries to do the camera setup, and then you get into the game. You're maybe doing different it's a big setup process, and so I think that developers, even if it was backwards compatible, developers would still be required to go in and provide major patches to their games And I think at this point, why wouldn't it just be worth it to just, if they're going to have to do all that work just to get it running, why not just make a PSVR2 upgrade? I think PS5 is already backwards compatible with PSVR 1, and that is the backwards compatibility. They did something, and that was giving us the ability to request adapters that we can get, and then being able to use our Gen 1 headsets to play PS4 games on PS5. And I think that is the extent of the backwards compatibility functionality.
Looper the Underground Game Cat with the €5 says, never trust an Xbox guy unless he says Half-Life Alyx is coming to PSVR 2, which is probably the best comment I've heard all week. Thank you, Looper. Darth Vader, the Game Cat with the $20 says, people crying over one single wire is downright pathetic and ignorant. It's just sad that people have zero faith in it because of the single fact that even though it specs... People have zero faith in it because of the single fact, even though it's because of that single fact. Now I'm all caught up. Even though its specs are miles ahead of the Quest 2. Agreed, Darth Vader. We'll talk more about the wire in a minute. Joey Cats 33 with the $5 tip says, if PlayStation VR 2 is backwards compatible with the top 40 PlayStation VR games, or at least patched, I'll be okay. I'd be bummed if not. I have a huge PSVR library. I bet you've got a huge PSVR library, Joey Cats. We've all got a huge PSVR library. I think the attach rate for PSVR is ridiculous. I think most people bought a ton of games for the PSVR 1 headset. And it would be sad because it's one of those things that, like, I'm not going to hold on to my PlayStation 4 or Pro and my PSVR 1 headset just to be able to play my PSVR 1 games. That is not something I'm able to do. You know, it's one thing to, hook up your old Sega Genesis and have a pile of cartridges or something like that. But with the mess of wires and everything, it was just such a mess to hook up the PSVR 1. So I really hope that there is a better solution than doing that. I don't want to hold on to my old hardware. I'm done. I'm ready to move on. Let's make things simple. And I think what AJ said about patches is the thing that makes the most sense to me. I think we're going to see a lot of developers patch their game for PlayStation VR 2, and not just to make it work. I mean, obviously, we really want to make sure that we're taking advantage of the adaptive triggers, the haptic feedback in the controllers, because these controllers are fucking right. So far ahead of most of the other controllers on the market. We really want to take advantage of that. Not to mention the 4K screens, the ability to just render for further draw distances, higher resolution, and just I think all these devs are going to want to take a little bit of time and go back into their game and really make them shine for PlayStation VR 2. There were so many limitations with PlayStation VR 1. We don't want that anymore. You don't want to put on your PSVR 2 and go, oh, right, these games a lot of them didn't look all that great. So this is their chance. This is developers' chance to say, we've got a whole new audience in front of us. And this game that we already developed and already spent years of our life making, well, we can spend like 3 or 4 months and make it look and play a whole lot better and then sell it to a brand new audience all over again, right? Patch it for free for the people who already paid for it and then sell it to this whole new audience. Tens of millions of new VR gamers coming through the door for this.
Yeah, so this is what I'm thinking. Shades of Gray Matter said there are system-level solutions for all that stuff, AG. I agree to some degree, but I don't know if Sony's actually going to do that. Basically, my stance here is saying that, look, I wouldn't expect backwards compatibility, and if you something you're still dead set on, I wouldn't expect it right away. I do feel like that would be something that if they don't announce that leading up, if they don't say backwards compatibility by the time the official headset is shown and all that stuff, you can probably, it's safe to say kiss that goodbye. But that's not the end of this, though. We do think they have been experimenting with different technology that will help port it over, and also, they can upgrade the graphics and stuff maybe, but all this stuff has to be done on Sony's end, and I haven't seen enough evidence. I haven't heard anything from developers about this being a possibility. And I think the backwards compatibility, like I said, already exists in the form of playing your PSVR 1 on PS5. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, like I said, because look, who wants to play a shitty, blurry PSVR 1 game on who wants to get a PSVR 2 to play a PSVR 1 game like Good Dog, Bad Dog? Do you really want that to work? I don't. I want that shit
not for
out
Saturday
of
Night
here.
Live streams. You don't.
I don't want that on here. Also, stuff like Rush of Blood. Rush of Blood has issues where it pauses right now, and it's like, do you really want your to get a PSVR 2 and play Rush of Blood and have like a pausing issue and have not up to the graphics that it could be? I think the best solution is easily to do PS5/PSVR 2 upgrades where they can enable the adaptive triggers and haptic feedback, like you said, where they can upscale the resolution or have higher resolution, maybe even add some stuff as well. I think this is going to be the best solution moving forward, and getting all of still get a bunch of your games. Give me Rush of Blood remastered. Give me a Blood and Truth remastered. All these things. I would love that as an option. Now, that does come with some questions as well, though. And that is, would it be a free upgrade or would it be a paid upgrade? And to me, personally, I think the best thing that developers could do, with some exceptions, is for everyone who owns the game already on PS4, you get a free PS5 upgrade, just like how you're seeing. But as we've come to see on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 storefront, it's not always that simple. That it's usually up to the developers and the publishers. Some do a free upgrade and some try to charge for a lot for it. So that could be the possible dilemma with the upgrade situation.
Yeah, it would be nice if Sony said, "Hey, you know what? Like, let's make sure we have a system in place here. Let's make sure that, that everybody's on the same page. You can absolutely patch your game for PlayStation VR2, but it's got to be a free upgrade. You know, you're more than welcome to adjust the price for new people coming in the door, for official PSVR2 release. You know, if certain games are given, that extra bit of love, and developers think that they deserve a little bit more money for it, well then charge the new customers like an extra $5. Tack on, make Shadow Legend $24.99 instead of $19.99 or whatever the hell it was, right? So they can get money from other ways, but the fact is that they're hitting a brand new market, right? When we have maybe 6 million people who have a PlayStation VR 1 headset, like, the fact is we're going to see so many more people buy PlayStation VR 2, right? This is just it's not just PlayStation VR 1 gamers. We're talking about tens of millions of gamers who have access to these games that never had access to them before. Maybe this is their first VR headset, maybe not, but this is maybe their first time in the PlayStation ecosystem, maybe not, but it's definitely their first PlayStation VR headset, and they're going to see these games, and it'll be new for them. And this will be the way developers can make money off their old games. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's very important that developers keep making money on these games, but definitely don't want people who've already purchased the games to have to pay for them again. I don't think that's...
Exactly. And we're on the exact same wavelength. And I think that's exactly why you can get away with doing free upgrades to those who own the game already, because the majority of the player base probably doesn't have VR right now, and they will in the future. And I think you can make plenty of sales that way. Now, I could see potentially a case that would be like a $10 upgrade or something, and I really wouldn't want that. I would actually I'd try to advocate against that, but you can't really stop developers from doing that. So I could understand it would suck to pay another $10 for the same game that you already own, but just like an upgraded version of it. But I do think it's better than having to pay full price again for the game, obviously. Like, that's not something we want. That's anti-consumer to force your to people that supported you from the beginning. That's also a great way for developers to say thank you for supporting us in the beginning of this frontier of VR into VR, and giving them a free upgrade. And I see some people saying, I I see some people, really, really worried about that, but I don't know. I forgot what I was going to say, so I don't know.
Well, we got a couple tips here. Pedro with $10 says, why does AJ always look like he's driving with the visor down, but the sun is still in his eyes? Love you all. Belrami the Game Cat with the €2 says, first game with a patch will be Darkness Roller Coaster. That wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. And it'll probably be paid patch because it's like the 17th time.
Yeah, what I was going to say was I'd imagine it's going to play out a lot like the PS4 and PS5 situation, and that's both a good thing and a bad thing. So my experience has been good overall when it comes to PS5 upgrades. I've gotten No Man's Sky for free. I've gotten Hitman 3 for free, and vice versa. When I buy the PS5 version, I also get the PS4 version. And I think there's been a couple other examples of games that I've purchased. I've only had to purchase one version of it, and I get both the PS5 and PS4 version. And I think that's been the best thing to do. But
Dude,
there's also talking to XPacer X in the Discord this morning. He said that there's also a lot of games on the storefront that are a mess, like stuff like Square Enix and the way they handled the Final Fantasy VII Remake upgrade, where you had to purchase the DLC Intergrad to be eligible to upgrade to the PS5 version. So that's the danger of this upgrade. It's not like a free upgrade system. It's like there's some developers and publishers that are sneaky about it and just looking for more money.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully Sony can basically create a system to make sure that everybody's on the same page, because right now there are certainly developers who want to have their game on PlayStation VR2 at launch, and they're being told nope. Right? Like it's not just something you can just say, oh, I'm making a PlayStation VR2 game and it's going to be there at launch. So woohoo, good for us. So Sony does have control over their own store, and they do have control over some of how this happens. And so if they'd like to make the regulation and say, hey, this isn't fair to PlayStation VR1 gamers, to people who were there from the beginning, who helped build a VR community and made PlayStation VR1 as successful as it was. We don't want to fuck those people, right? We want to make sure those people feel like they're treated fairly, and I could totally see that being the case. The other thing that I think would be awesome for Sony to do, that I've mentioned before, is just like when you buy PlayStation 5 and you have PlayStation Plus, you get the PlayStation Plus collection, right? And it's all of these fucking top tier amazing games that if you missed out on last gen on PlayStation 4, here they are running better than ever on PlayStation 5. How great would it be if PlayStation did the exact same thing for PSVR 2 and said, hey, you got PlayStation VR 2 and PlayStation Plus, here's your PlayStation VR 2 Plus collection, and it's the 10, 15, 20 best PlayStation VR 1 titles. And here they are running better than ever, taking full advantage of all of the new capabilities, the higher resolution, the better controllers, everything. Thank you for buying PlayStation VR 2. That'll justify the slightly bigger price than you expected.
There's a lot of ways you're saying in doing that with PSVR 1 titles and making them like BC, but also making sure that they actually work and play well, and that they're actually
just like the Plus collection on PlayStation 5, where it was PlayStation 4 games that all run better because they're running on PlayStation 5.
Yeah, like a BC collection that has Astrobot, Blood and Truth, and
that take advantage of the new features, everything. Yeah.
That do have upgrades.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really up to Sony to decide. There's plenty of different ways they could do that. But like I said, I would rather. Let me ask you a question, Brian. Would you rather PlayStation VR 2 be backwards compatible with Rush of Blood, and it still have the pausing issue and the lower graphics, or would you rather pay $10 for Rush of Blood to upgrade it and get it in 4K with haptics and adaptive triggers? Which one would you rather have?
I'd rather pay $10 for the game that now works better, right? So
I rest my case.
But that's the two situations that really shouldn't.
They're a little bit unique, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, neither one of those things should be an issue. Like, really, it's been Sony that's keeping Supermassive from patching Rush of Blood. Like, Sony's the one who paid for that game, so Sony's would have to pay Supermassive again to patch that game. And so it's really on Sony to take care of that one. And so there's quite a few games, I think, that Sony's maybe got on the back burner saying, hey, when we get PSVR 2 out there, we're going to make sure all these are patched properly for PlayStation VR2. A lot of things weren't patched properly for PlayStation 5, but with a new headset coming, I'd be shocked if these things didn't get a patch to work properly on PlayStation VR2. Let me get caught up real quick here on tips. We got Mako XL with Canadian $5 saying, "Show me your pussy, Brian." Tornado made a quick cameo. Sorry, it wasn't long enough for you. I believe that's what we're talking about, Mako, right?
Dirty Mako.
Right. We also got Matster GameScast with the $5 tip says, "Hello, Brian and AJ. Just dropping in to say hello. Keep up the great work." Thank you so much, Master Gamecaster. Hope everything's going well for you. Dreamcastic Channel with the $2 tip says, "If no backwards compatibility, will PlayStation VR2 get Skyrim or Beat Saber?" I mean, that, you know what? Maybe these are two really good examples. I don't think Dreamcastic Channel was just throwing out two random titles here. We're talking about a game company that's now owned by Xbox and a game studio that's now owned by Facebook.
Right. And that could be a tricky situation for sure.
Yeah, I personally don't think that Xbox is holding on to exclusives except for brand new titles. I think they want to use Skyrim as the cash cow that it's always been, and just keep re-releasing it and re-releasing it and re-releasing it as often as possible. And I think that Beat Saber is a pretty big cash cow for Facebook too. Not that Facebook needs money, but selling DLC to everybody, I bet we see them both. What do you think, AJ?
Yeah, Beat Saber would be that's definitely one that you'd want to try and keep onto. It'd really be up to Facebook whether they say that yes, this is allowed. This could go to PSVR 2, or there's something that's something we don't know the answer to be honest with you. There's no way for me to know. What I do know is that I've spoken to Bethesda representatives, and they like VR and they want to continue supporting it. So, but that's as much as they would give me as far as like what the future would hold. So there's no guarantees. The only possible thing is if they have stuff under contract, lots of contracts, licensing. But, this is what I'm going to say is set your expectations to know that it's not going to have it. That way, if it does happen, you'll be very happy about it and blown away and excited. And if not, you'll be like, yep, see, didn't happen. So that's the best I can give you is to set your expectations accordingly. I do agree, though, that if there is a possible solution for them to do it, they absolutely need to. But in the meantime, we're probably going to have to rely on some upgrades. And maybe, just maybe, there will be some games. Maybe they'll say there is a limited amount of backwards compatible games. But quite frankly, we haven't heard that yet. And I feel like there could be a reason we haven't heard that yet.
Dude, there's so many things we haven't heard, right? There's so many things.
There's still a lot more to hear.
I've seen people saying, why haven't they talked about motion sickness yet? Why haven't they talked about, more about the haptics in the headset? Why haven't they talked? Because they haven't fucking talked about anything, right? I think it seems like they announced all this shit a really long time ago because we leaked it months ago. We leaked this shit back in August, right? And so it seems like Sony announced this shit a long time ago, but really it's just this is the first time they're really talking about a lot of these things publicly. So give them some time. Give them some time to talk about all of this stuff. Over the next few months, I think we're going to see a lot more. We're going to hear a lot more information, a lot more details about some of the tech that's going on, and of course, a lot more about some of the launch lineup and games that are coming past launch. Nihilus Ryan, the Game Fuel Line with a $10 tip says, "Missed a few shows, but it's good to catch y'all live again. PSVR 2 is love. PSVR 2, I think, is life."
Yeah, hopefully they are developing something or do have a trick up their sleeve, because I do think that would be a big boost. But again, that also puts them in the risk of people playing. If there's just full backwards compatibility to the entire library, that does put the risk of some really getting some really shitty games that you don't want. I've said before, you only want about 10% of the library that needs to be like upgraded, or maybe a little bit more, maybe more like 10, 15, 20%. But
but PlayStation VR 2 is going to have its own share of crappy titles, right? You can't just like eliminate the crappy titles, and for some people, there are some games that people think some people hate and some people love. And so it's like, where does Sony draw the line and say this is acceptable and this isn't? So my biggest concern is that, like, the last thing you want is somebody putting on a PlayStation VR 2 headset for the first time, playing a PSVR 1 game, And if they haven't found some way to integrate the analog sticks into the motion for locomotion,
Right.
you have to like hold a button down and just point in a direction. People can go, "What the fuck is this? Like this is so broken," and just not like understand like everything we together had gone through for the last 5 years. So, that's where straight backwards compatibility sort of falls through the cracks and becomes an issue when it's just the controls don't work well with the new controllers.
Yeah. One of the portables had like a button remapping thing, and that's the biggest hurdle. That is the biggest hurdle I see is getting the controller mapping, and that to me is the big question mark, because I feel like the graphics, the graphics is a thing too. I mean, I feel like unless there's some automatic filter they can put it through or flip a switch and make it look better, I feel like that's still something the developers would have to go in and add and patch in. So maybe there's some stuff that can be done with patches. But again, even if it's backwards compatibility, you're not getting the DualSense controllers. You're not getting the Sense controller adaptive trigger feedback. And you're not getting the higher resolution. So it's going to be, it could be problematic. The thing, if there is no backwards compatibility, I think the thing that will alleviate a lot of the pain from people is upgrades, free upgrades especially. And I think that stuff like Wipeout and Blood and Truth and these flagship titles, the persistence, a lot of these games will get free upgrades. And I think that will alleviate a lot of the problems for people.
Waleed Saeed Faridi with the Canadian $2 tip says, "I'll be happy with a 20 game PS Plus collection." Boy, I'm really setting you guys up for disappointment now, aren't I? I've talked about it and made it a reality. Now Sony's going to get on top of that shit. Shirzad Khan City with the $5 tip says, "Possible solution for PSVR 1 games: release those for all platforms with motion controls like PC and Quest 2. I don't think that really helps the PlayStation VR2 backwards compatibility situation. It just finally gives people on other platforms something good to play." Yeah, I said it. Suck it. Anyway. Oh, wait. Dead Ringer with the $5 tip says, "Happy first Friday of the year." Is that true? Yeah. Technically it is. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So not even technically, it just is. So pumped for all the PSVR 2 hype. Happy 2022. Dude, 2022 seems old already.
Hype, baby.
Isn't it 2023
Shout out to
yet?
Dead Ringer Jr. as well. All right, so we've got some more stuff to talk about. Though there's not just the backwards compatibility. We're settling on. So you think no, right? You think no backwards compatibility, or you're not ready to? I think I'm going to say no, but I'm still leaving I'm still open to the possibility of that happening, but I am heavily leaning towards no at this time. I think that could change though.
I'm going to say no, and give every developer the option to patch it for PSVR 2, and so that everything is technically still playable. Or not technically, still playable. Why do I keep saying technically for no reason? Everything's still playable on your new headset, but it's not officially backwards compatible. It's just been patched to work. Which means, unfortunately, that there's still going to be a few games that just get fucking lost forever because certain developers didn't make it to this new generation. Some developers shut down, and some games got delisted. We just talked about the Solus project. It's like, it got delisted, and was that to bring out a new version of it for PlayStation VR 2, and so that the only version out there is the fucking kick-ass version, and it's not to be confused with the old one? Or are we just never going to see that game again? Lots of questions.
I don't know. Yeah, lots of questions. So the next thing we want to get into, and don't worry, old Darth, I got your question written down, is we are going to talk about The Wire, Brian.
Ooh, I like wires.
Yeah, me too.
Especially they're everywhere, man. Like they crisscross my entire apartment. Like I've got wires resting on my leg right now just because they're fucking everywhere, man.
So while the majority of us have kind of glossed over the wire thing because we said, well, it's not the 6 wires that the wire has never really been a huge issue for us. There's still a couple people out there that are kind of let's just say unhappy about the single cable. I don't really know any of these people, nor do I really want to.
Wait.
I still think
I think maybe you're misinterpreting what some people are saying. I think what's really happening out there isn't, I'm so pissed off that there's a wire. What's really happening out there is that people are defending their headset of choice to the death, and the only thing they have left to complain about is, that thing that kicks total fucking ass that hasn't even come out yet, that we haven't even totally seen yet. There's a wire. And that's the only way I can defend my current headset.
It does sound like a pathetic attempt to latch out to anything you can find, and that's the one thing that you have. Maybe the price would be another one. You think the price, but we don't know that, so they don't have that yet. But yeah, there's some people that seem to think that the wireless is a big deal, and yeah. I mean, personally, I don't really care. I think if they go wireless, I'm not willing to sacrifice the wire for comfort, and I also think it would also make it more expensive. Now, I have a Quest 2. I like the Quest 2. I agree that it helps with the accessibility. I think it makes it easier to carry around and stuff and travel with and whatnot. But here's the thing: is that the type of gamer I am, I typically end up having to play with the wire the majority of the time, because if the Quest 2 battery pack that I had lasted for 10 hours and was comfortable, I'd probably prefer that. Yes, I think the technology still needs time to develop to become cheaper, lighter, more efficient, and I do think we will eventually get another premium headset that will be, especially if PSVR 2 does well, I think we will eventually get a second option in the future that is wireless, especially when the tech is really efficient and a lot less expensive.
I think I find it so fascinating that every time Jim Ryan talks about the wire, he always says, you need a wire to set up the PlayStation VR2. It connects to the PlayStation 5 with one wire, and it's needed for setup. There's a part of me that, first and foremost, I've been playing with fucking this ridiculous breakout box and a massive conglomeration of wires that broke into different outputs and different inputs and all fucking stitched together like Frankenmonster. It's been, the wires for PlayStation VR 1 were bad. It was an absolute mess. And no matter what I do, there's no hiding those wires, right? So the one wire is super duper simple. It just plugs right into your front of your PlayStation 5. If you want to people always complain. They said, well, when I disconnect it all and I unplug it all so that I can put it away and so that my cat won't fuck with it, my kids won't fuck with it, all of that shit, then it's so complicated to hook back up. And I'm like, I guess if you live in that kind of environment where you have to disconnect it after every use, then yeah, I wouldn't want to hook it back up either. For those people,
if you had to set up your breakout box every time, I could understand.
It'd be awful. But for those people, now they can just pull the PSVR 2 headset out of the closet and hook up the USB-C cable to the headset into the console and start playing. So it's really simplified what we've been doing for the last 6 years. That said, there's a part of me that says there's going to be an option. There's going to be something, an addition that we're going to be able to buy for the headset that they're going to sell us that will add wireless possibility.
So the only way this is possible, this is finally answering Darth Vader's old Darth's question.
Hell yeah.
Is, do you think the USB Type-C cable will be detachable?
I absolutely think so. Absolutely think so. Yes.
I think that would be, I think when it comes to the whole wire conversation, that is the only conversation we should be having about it, is whether or not it will be a detachable wire. Because one of the things that we see is saw this gen was some accidents where people's cats or dogs or kids or whatever would damage that wire. And I think they could save a lot of issues having a detachable cable in the headset. And it would also be cool if by some similar means, have some way to add a wireless option through that method. But that remains to be seen.
Yeah. I think the technology is there to be able to get the signal to the headset properly without any loss of resolution or anything like that, or whatever, right? I don't know if we're going to be able to buy this. I'm just totally speculating here, but there's just so many PlayStation VR2 secrets that have not been told yet. And I feel like this is one of the secrets that hasn't been told yet, is that maybe not at launch. Maybe you won't be able to buy this thing at launch, but I do feel like they know that people want wireless. There's plenty of people out there. Our community. What does our community say? I want to see the.
Is the wire a deal
results.
breaker? No. The 96 out of 99 votes, 100 votes, sorry, 96 percent said no, I'm buying PSVR 2, that the wire is not a deal breaker,
Right.
and 4%. So 96 people said nope, they're buying PSVR 2. 4 people said they're not.
Right. So outside of our little universe here, outside of our bubble, there are people who do want do want a wireless option, and I don't think Sony's deaf to that. I really do think that they've considered this from all angles, and I would bet a pizza. And I know that's a big deal around here. I would bet a pizza that there will be an option to make the headset you buy at launch wireless later on. I think Sony is forward thinking. They don't want you to have to buy another headset in like 2 years, and to make it to buy a PSVR 2 Pro or something along those lines. I think that they've already thought this through, but we'll see. But as is, I'm totally fine with the wire.
That does not really affect me at all. The wire situation. I don't live in a hostile child and rabid animal filled environment, and like my setup, it really doesn't matter. But for the sake of looking out for others, for what other people, understanding that there are other people besides yourself out in the world, I would like that as an option.
Yeah.
Personally, I want to say I don't think it's going to be detachable, but I think there could be a revisional model, like a V2, like how we had the PSVR Gen 1 V2 headset that was like lighter, single cable, and was a lot better in that regard. It's either going to have it at launch, or there could be a V2 that comes out that has this detachable cable, or there's just going to be like a pro wireless model in the future.
Yeah, we got Gatorade 23, the H2O despising Gamecat with a $10 tip, says, I'm fine wired. Wire equals full power of the PS5 and no battery annoyance. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, the wire, it doesn't only provide low latency and higher graphical fidelity. You also don't have to... It powers it as well, so you don't have to have a battery pack as stuff, and it helps with the comfort. This could end up being a very much smaller, lighter headset because of having that wire. So people can pretend like it's like this huge deal all they want, but I think the minority of games, that's going to be an issue.
Yeah, comfort is a huge deal. PlayStation VR 1 has always been the most comfortable headset, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that there's no processor on board, and there's no there's no hard drive, and there's no battery pack, and there's no and also the fucking awesome design of the Halo strap. But I mean, it's super comfortable. Super cool video, bro, with the $5 tip, says, why does the wire debate does the wire debate involve the PSVR 2 and Quest 2 always seem to forget that PC VR is wired? Because some people do use AirLink or other means to play PC VR games wired.
Not everybody has Wi-Fi 6 though, or access to that, and not everybody has space for wireless to work the way that it should. So it's a very, very, it's a niche within a niche that is wanting this. And yeah, I think wireless is awesome once it evolves some. Once I can spend 10 hours in the headset wirelessly and it be comfortable, that'd be fine. But as is right now, I've probably spent the majority of my time playing the Quest either wired, or I play it for like 20, 30 minutes at a time.
Peter Trek F with the 10 plantain says, wire in 2022, I'm coming back to play Pong on Quest.
All right, so the next thing we have is the price What do you think the price is going to end up being?
I know there's people out there that think that this needs to be competitive with Quest 2 price wise, because I don't know why people think that.
I do think I think it does a little bit. Yes, it can't go crazy. I agree. Actually,
Well, there's such a huge difference between the two headsets.
there are.
It's. I think we're gonna start seeing two different markets evolve here or emerge from this. This is going to be when PlayStation VR2 launches. I think there's going to be a pretty clear like schism, right? We're going to look back at this and go, oh, remember when everybody wanted the same thing out of VR? Remember when some people wanted like really immersive, realistic experiences, and we thought that's what everybody wanted. And then at one point, people said, "No, we just want fucking cool wireless tech and no games." It's like, and that's where the schism will happen, and so
Right.
and so when when it comes to the price, I really do think that we're buying a premium product here, and I don't think we're going to see it at any less than $400. Although Endeavor One just price cut me by $50 in the chat, not $349.99.
You got some inside info, Endeavor One?
No,
I'm gonna say no, the devs don't know.
right. $400 is where I'm at. But I honestly could see it at 500 because these new controllers are pretty fucking awesome. The headset's got a lot of shit going on in it. Dan from Electrocat that we talk to all the time on Discord has been saying how much more expensive it is to have the two the separate screens that are adjustable for the IPD. Because anytime there's like motors or anything like that involved, it's like the price starts going up more and more. And I don't know if Sony's willing to take much of a loss on each of these headsets that are sold. I could totally see it being somewhere between $400 or $500. It's going to be expensive.
I'm exactly in the same boat. I'm hoping for 400, but I could see 500. But I know for a fact I don't know for a fact, but I would be absolutely shocked if the headset costs more than a PlayStation 5 itself. I just don't. I can't fathom that happening. Although I'd probably be willing to pay a little bit more, but I'm not going to say that out loud, even though I just did. I'm hoping for 400.
No one's listening.
I'm hoping for 400, and I'm sticking with that. Maybe 450, and no more than 500. So between 400 and $500.
That's what I'm saying about. Yeah, Joey Cats 33 with the $5 tip says one wire with PlayStation 5 or wireless Quest 2 plus a $3,000 PC to play 4K HDR VR games. Give me the wire.
Right. You add up the cost, and this headset. I think when you compare this headset to like the HTC Vive 2, which has slightly better specs than this, but it's also like what $600 or something. So I feel like they're trying to just slightly cut. I feel like they took a premium headset and they're cutting like any tiny little bit of corners that they could, slightly similar to how, dude, if they got the PS5 to be $400 to $500, that's pretty impressive. And I think they're going to be able to work something to make a similar situation here, where it's going to be possibly 400 especially if they want this thing to just fly off the shelves. But I could see it being 500 and then maybe going on sale in a year or something, and they'll start to get like price drops,
Yeah. Well, I do like what Wonder Rob said in the chat. There's a rule written in stone that can never be broken. No peripheral can cost as much as its console.
Right.
It's that's a funny thing to say, right? Or when you put it in that context, it's like, yeah, why would I buy something that's more expensive than the thing that I'm going to play it on? But why is that a rule, right? If like this thing really is going to be as fucking groundbreaking as we expect it to be, then I think cost is going to become a little bit less of an issue, or comparing it to the Quest 2's price is going to be a little bit less of an issue than we all expect. I still think there's a lot of people out there that don't really understand how powerful the PlayStation 5 is in terms of VR. We're not taking one step forward. We're not taking two steps forward. We're taking a fucking giant leap forward, and it's just going to be absolutely way better than anybody is expecting. And I think when people see that, they're going to go, okay, like that. I don't think that 7-second, 10-second Horizon Call of the Mountain clip didn't It clued us in, saying, look how fucking, detailed this world can be. Look at all this foliage. Look at the fucking massive, long neck that's like towering over us. But
Yeah.
I don't think anybody really has a clear idea of just how amazing this is all going to be.
Yeah, to me, it depends on what their strategy is. Like, basically, it depends on what their goal is for selling this. If this is just supposed to be like a small enthusiast market device, then it could end up being like 500 or maybe more, but I really don't think so. And if they actually want this to be like a market growing competitor and something that, like I said, flies off the shelves left and right, then I think they would try to cut costs wherever they can and bring it down as much as possible. Bad Robo is in the chat. He says $3.99. Mark my words. Marked. Bad Robo.
Yeah, that would be ideal. I think that would be ideal.
Ideally, yes.
Emily Baxter, hashtag the cartoony witch game kitten with the $2 tip, says, I'd pay $600 if it was compatible with PC.
I wouldn't.
There's so many questions, man. So many questions about PC compatibility that maybe is for another day. But knowing that Sony and Valve have been working behind the scenes, anything is possible. Anything is possible.
All right.
We'll see.
So we both agree that it's probably that we think it's going to be 400, between 400 and 500. Mm-hmm. Next, we've got the release date. When do we think it is being released?
7/7/77. That can't be right. That's way.
And that's a long time from now.
That's not this year. Yeah, I'm going mid 2022, and I would say that between late June, early July is sort of where my head's at with this. What about you?
I'm going end of summer or somewhere between end of summer to holiday. So somewhere maybe maybe like October, somewhere between October and November.
Okay.
Maybe. I could see it happening sooner or even later, but it really depends on how ready they are. From what we got yesterday, it seems like they're pretty ready for the most part. At least I don't know. I mean, they've got the headset specs. We've got this thing going. Okay, so let's take a look at the rumors. These are just rumors, but these are really solid rumors. Is that we heard that they were going to begin. Gore-Tech was going to be mass producing these, and they were going to start doing that soon. And in manufacturer terms, that's usually like 2 to 3 months. And then we also heard that these were going to start shipping by Q2. Now, when in Q2, I have no idea. You'd have to imagine probably later in Q2. And then you give another 3 to 6 months after that, which puts us, I don't know where. Let me look at a full calendar real quick.
Pretty insightful of you.
So yeah, about somewhere between September and November, I'm looking at.
That's not what I wanted at all. I got to tell you about this reaction video we were going to do last night. That's what I'm showing on accident here. That didn't go at all the way I expected to. Let's try this again. Oh, man, I don't even know what to show. Okay, so, yeah, I mean, so wait, when's the latest you think it would launch? Just gets back on track.
November. Here. I think November is the latest.
Wow. I think if it misses PlayStation VR 1's birthday, October 13th, then I don't think
depends on how ready they are.
That.
It just depends on how ready they are. I think they absolutely would want to hit that the birth date, October 13th, and but I think that all depends on if they're ready or not. I'm starting to feel like they're going to be ready.
Yeah, I think so too. I think I definitely feel like we're going to be seeing this a little bit earlier than people think.
Could even be August.
Deej the Pumpkin Patch Kid with $5 says, I hate to say it, but I would buy one off a scalper if it meant a day one purchase.
Don't do it.
Listen,
Don't do it. That's going to be a problem.
Listen, I'm kind of with Deej, right? Like if I didn't care about getting a PlayStation 5 on day one. I was lucky I was able to get a pre-order in when they first went live. I'm very, very happy I got one just so it's like done and out of the way, and like that expense is now long behind me. But I don't really care that much about having one because I really just wanted it for PlayStation VR2. Like that's the biggest reason I wanted one. PSVR 2 is one of the biggest thing I want in this world, and it has been for a very, very, very long time. So pretty much since PSVR 1 launched, and so I think I would probably pay scalper prices if it meant getting one on day one. I think I'm with you, Deej.
Justin Cassidy says July, August would be perfect for me. For me too, man. All right, final predictions here or discussion, Brian. The launch lineup. What do you think? Give me 5 games you think are going to launch with PlayStation VR 2.
Well, we're certainly going to overlap on these 5 then, because I think we probably got both of this. We both have the same titles in mind. I think
do one at a time, and I'll tell you.
All right. Well, I just posted the breaking news vid about or the rumor about Half-Life Alyx. And I really do think Half-Life is one of those games, or Alyx is one of those games that showed people what VR was capable of, and it's definitely regarded as one of the best, if not the best, VR game out there. And I think Sony wants that on their platform, and I think Valve wants to get more people playing VR, and so I'm sure a deal was struck there, and I could totally see Alyx being one of those games.
That is our first agreement. Half-Life Alyx is going to be a launch PSVR 2 game, PlayStation VR 2 game. I think it just makes total sense. It's a headset seller. It's a game that is all the rave and in high demand. And I know plenty of people that would go out and buy a PS5 and a PSVR 2 for that game alone. So that's number 1. Next.
The Sacred Grove says, did scalpers attack the Quest? I don't think they will go hard on PSVR 2. Dude, the reason why everyone thinks that Quest 2 sold 10 million units is because that was their shipping number. That's how many they shipped. If you go anywhere here in the States, there's like 20 Quest 2 sitting on every single shelf. Like, they are readily available, like super, super easy to find. Scalpers would be insane to try to like buy up all the stock. I guarantee you that Quest 2 only sold about half of the numbers that they were talking about.
The shipping, people. Oh God, yeah. When people try to argue like some of these facts with you, saying, it's ridiculous. I'm sure it sold a lot. I'd probably imagine maybe anywhere from 4 to 6 million.
Right. Which is still a great number, man. VR is definitely trending upward, and which is so good.
That's a great number in a year.
Right. Yeah,
that's a huge number,
and that shows you where we are with VR right now. I think it's really less to do with how great the Quest 2 is, and more to do with the fact that more people are interested in VR than ever, and Facebook does have a lot to do with people's interest in it. So PSVR 1 sold this amount, Quest 2 sold this amount. I think PSVR 2 is going to sell fucking this amount. I have to back up to show you where my hand is because it's so fucking high up there. And again, people who were born into VR on the Quest 2. Are going to be really excited to see what VR is really capable of, right? You missed out on how amazing the PSVR 1 was, which is still better than the Quest 2. And it's fucking cool, man. I mean, that's the other leap in logic that people are taking. Well, Quest 2 is so much better than... It's like, you didn't play PlayStation VR 1 if that's really your thought. But anyway, so do you want to say the second game of our launch lineup?
Yeah, please. I think the second one is going to be Resident Evil Village. I think that's going to be the second launch title. This game is outselling, Resident Evil 7 is the highest selling Resident Evil game of all time. Yeah. And I think like the second best selling Capcom game. And Resident Evil Village is on pace right now to outsell it. A lot of people, when Resident Evil 4 got the remake on Quest, that is a Quest exclusive that could potentially come to us as well. I want Resident Evil Village more, in fact. And I think that's going to be the thing. We saw the showcase where Shuhei said, I really like what I really love what Capcom did with Resident Evil 7, and I can't wait to see the future or something like that. And like he totally gave us a nice little wink there. And I think Resident Evil Village will be one.
the rumors were pretty much all but confirmed. Exactly what we're talking about right now. The Resident Evil 8, like we know, from there was the playtesters who talked to the producers during that session and said, "Hey, is this going to have a VR mode?" And they're like, "Yeah, but we have to wait on Sony for that." This is what they were waiting on Sony for. Like, it's so obvious, and so one of the worst kept secrets I think is that Resident Evil Village will have VR support, and it sounds like a perfect launch title.
Lady Demetru is a system seller herself, a headset seller in herself.
Wonder
Not
Rob
my
with the
words,
$5
just
tip.
my professional market analyst opinion.
Wonder Rob with the $5 tip says there's a big launch title yet to be announced for PSVR 2. Roberdamus, Nostradamus,
Robert Thomas. I love it.
I can't fucking Robert Thomas predicts. That's good. I should have practiced that. Rob, you need to send me this shit ahead of time so I can practice pronunciation. Dude, Grand Theft Auto 5 has been ported left and right, up and down, all over the place. It's like a PlayStation 3 game, right? And it's still the best-selling game month after month after month after month, fucking 10 years later. It's absolutely insane how popular Grand Theft Auto 5 has been. And I mean, Sony and Rockstar have been working together, and they've been making all these deals for the PlayStation 5 release. And if that doesn't have PSVR 2 support at launch, I mean, that's a real system seller. Fuck Resident Evil, fuck Half-Life Alyx, fuck everything else, man. Grand Theft Auto 5, one of the biggest games in the world.
No. No, I don't think so. I think Half-Life Alyx is a much big. I think Grand Theft Auto definitely
no chance
gets.
Hell.
I think it's too many kids, man. I think too many kids that can't afford VR.
Dude,
are
the kids that bought Grand Theft Auto 10 years ago are adults now. Like everybody plays Grand Theft Auto.
Okay, it is a 120 million selling franchise just for Grand Theft Auto 5 alone, maybe.
And so
especially if they do a good job.
Grand Theft Online, I think will want to be one of those social VR games that people talk about forever, right? It's so cool, like on a flat screen and jump into a car with your friends and go like, dude, doing that in VR just changes everything. Makes me want to play it. And I have no desire to play Grand Theft Online, but I would play that all day, every day in VR.
I'd play the shit out of it. I know.
Yeah.
I know. I had a whole conversation about this recently. No, I totally agree. I retract my statement and I yield to you. All right. So you said that's 3. We gotta hurry up here. So I'm gonna say Gran Turismo 7. Mm-hmm. We already have strong reason to believe why this is gonna be on a PSVR 2 game, and it's gonna be a PSVR 2 launch game, I think, as well.
Yeah.
What's your last pick?
I don't know if I have one.
I will say Horizon Call of the Mountain. I think is going to be a the first announced game for PlayStation VR 2. I think is going to be a launch game.
I think that's really smart. Yeah, I mean, I think we know that this game's been in development for about 3 years or so. It's bigger than I think a lot of people expect it to be. And
yes, if you think Sony created new controllers for us to give us a rail shooter, you're wrong.
Well, I mean, but don't get me wrong. I do think rail shooters, we'll see some rail shooters, dude. If we got Until Dawn Rush of Blood, if we got Until Dawn Rush of Blood 2 at the launch of PlayStation VR 2, and it was just more roller coasters, which I've gone on record saying that I want Rush of Blood 2 to be, I want full locomotion and run around the whole amusement park and have it be fucking balls to the wall and nutso, and have roller coasters just be one of the many things that happen in this fucking insane amusement park. But if all we got was Rush of Blood 2 on PSVR 2, I'd be like, and it was just roller coasters, I'd be all about it, man. You could definitely find some cool ways to use these new controllers, even on a rail shooter. So I don't want to disparage anybody from making a fucking amazing rail shooter.
I love rail shooters, man, but to take the Horizon IP and make it into a rail shooter, that's not going to happen, and that would be a horrible idea. The opening sequence is a straight-up copy from Skyrim. Yeah. He even takes the thing off and says, he's like, "Oh, you're awake," and that's just like Skyrim, where he's like, "You're awake, stranger," or something. And it's very similar to the beginning of Skyrim. A lot of games use this as an opening sequence to ease you into the world and get a look around and stuff and start getting immersed right away. But I'm sure after that. Now, I don't think that. So I think personally that Horizon Call of the Mountain is going to be somewhere in between. I don't think it's going to be as big as a Horizon Forbidden West or Horizon Zero Dawn.
I don't see it being open world at all.
But I also don't think it's going to be a rail shooter. So I think it's going to be somewhere in the middle.
It's going to be a much more focused experience, like an Uncharted 1 kind of thing or Uncharted 2 sort of thing. Yeah.
And going by what some of the devs are saying, I think it is going to demonstrate. It's almost like Astro's Playroom in a way, which we could also get. But I think it's going to be used kind of in an Astro's Playroom kind of way where it's more than a tech demo, but it's also not like a 30-hour RPG, open world RPG either. We could be wrong. We still need to see more info on that game. It would be amazing if it was like a full-fledged 20, 30-hour game. That'd be incredible. But that's just not what I'm expecting. I'm expecting more something that showcases the tech and delivers a really awesome, solid length experience.
Yeah, agreed.
So that gives us for launch our launch predictions are Horizon Call of the Mountain, Gran Turismo 7, Half-Life Alyx, Resident Evil Village, and Grand Theft Auto.
Deej the Pumpkin Patch Kid with £5 says, I've always said Call of Duty VR would be the game to get VR into the mainstream. Do you think it'll happen on this generation? Deej, I think the deal with that is that we didn't even say the word hybrid games once this entire episode. And I think
there's a lot more to talk about.
Yeah, I think hybrid games are especially going to be important for third-party studios, being able to give the tools to those third parties to be able to bring their flat screen game into VR really easily. I think Sony is going to want to do as much as they can to create these unique to VR experiences, but being able to tell third parties, hey, we're making it really easy for you to bring your game to PlayStation VR2. I think that's going to be huge, and I think Call of Duty will be one of those games.
Yeah, man.
I'm missing a tip here. Pietro F with the 9 plantain says Cyberpunk VR. That's the way I'd want to play that game. I'll say that.
Yeah, I honestly think that I've always thought that Cyberpunk was going to be a PlayStation VR2 game, but they botched the launch of that game so bad that I'm like, I'm going to wait on that. But I still do think eventually, once they get the game fixed, I think Cyberpunk 2077 would be an amazing PlayStation VR 2 game. Hell, that could be a surprise that we get later. This is just the beginning. So you got to remember, even with whatever we get at launch, stuff's going to be changing and evolving. We've got a PlayStation 5, and we're going to have a PSVR 2 for 5, 6, 7 years. We're going to have it for a while. So, there's a lot of stuff. This is going to be really, really a really fun gen.
A couple tips here before we move on. We got Hugh Guyver with the Australian $3. Says Borderlands 3 VR with full multiplayer for launch. That'd be great. What's the Borderlands spin-off game? That looks awesome.
Oh, Tiny Tina's Wonderland. I want that in VR so bad. Yeah.
Same. We also got Billy Goat Catfish with the Australian $10. Didn't say anything. There we go. Billy, type your message, man. He's like, shit, I forgot to type the message.
We'll have more episodes too about wish lists that we have, and
how we think hybrid games will work.
And hybrid games, a lot of stuff. So there's plenty more. We're also going to be going back into PSVR 1, Gen 1 a little bit at some point. We still got like another week before news starts popping up again for that. So, we're going to be slowly transitioning into PSVR 2 while we close out the beautiful PSVR 1.
Alberto Mapam, El Game Gato with the 50 Mexican pesos, says, so the Sense controller sticks mean the PSVR 2 won't have 3D rudder support? Saludos, people. Great days to come. I think we can finally say goodbye to the 3D rudder, although RC Airplane Challenge did support it. People were like going crazy when they saw that the little green check mark next to the 3D rudder during that review. I fucking love that shit.
Yep. All right, man.
It is.
You ready?
It is time. Yeah, absolutely. And if you happen to see Billy Goat's message come through, let me know.
Okay.
The question is, AJ, are you ready? Because it's 20 questions time, and I'm the host. I've got a PlayStation VR game in mind right now, and you guys out there got to help AJ come up with 20 yes or no questions in under 6 minutes and figure out what game it is I'm thinking of. Sound good?
Let's do this, cats.
All right, let me get the timer up from Timertopia. I keep forgetting to put the link in the description. I always forget to put links in the description. There it is. Go.
Does it have move support?
I forgot what game it is. Yes, I just had to look it up. Yes.
Does it support the DualShock 4?
No.
Okay. Is it a racing game?
No.
Is it a fantasy game?
It's fantastical.
It's fantastical.
Yeah, but if you're thinking like orcs and elves and shit, no.
Yeah,
Not
okay.
fantasy.
Does it have full locomotion?
No.
Does not have full locomotion. Water tigers. Deborah was just in the chat just yelling water tigers. Oh. Okay. Let's see here. Is it a shooter?
No. That's 6.
It's not a shooter. So what do we have here? It doesn't have full locomotion. Does it have teleportation?
Yes.
Okay. And that's not including node teleportation, right?
Node would be a form of teleportation, I would say.
Oh.
Node to node teleportation and teleportation.
Well, shit. Okay. So it has teleportation. I guess I got to burn the question then. Does it have node teleportation?
I don't believe that's how this works.
I mean, when I said teleportation,
listen I'm not going to count that. First of
Yeah,
all, I'm not going to count the newest question. I'm not going to count the newest question because I'm pretty sure it's just teleportation and not node, and so I'm not going to count that last one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when I said teleportation, I meant like the actual teleportation.
Yeah. Well, for future reference.
Are there? Do you control vehicles in this game? No. Forget that. There's no. Or actually, yeah, no. I've done Final Assault before. All right, cats, come on. I need some help here. Does it have puzzles? Thank you, Mac. 55.
It's certainly not what you're going to think of when you think of this, but there are minor puzzles in the game. I mean, and when I say minor, I mean you're not thinking about puzzles when you think about this game.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's teleportation.
It's almost like I should say no. There are no puzzles.
Okay. And you said it's normal teleportation, right?
Yes. To my recollection, it is normal teleportation.
Okay. Thank you, Neon Groove. Is it an escape room game?
It is not an escape room game.
Damn, he just said there's no puzzles. I should have
really just said
there's
that.
Probably yeah, I know. There was some delay. I'm trying to use the chat here. Mm-hmm. Is it based off a popular IP?
It is based off a popular IP, and that is 10 questions.
Okay, it is based off a popular IP. It has teleportation, and it has like a little bit of puzzles, but it's mainly not. It has fantastical elements, but not like orcs and stuff. Let's see. How much time do I have?
2 minutes and 25 seconds, and only 10 questions left.
Running out of time. Doctor Who's definitely a hardcore puzzle game. There's no shooting. Did it come out in the last 2 years? So it's at least going to be close.
Yes.
It did come out within the last 2 years. Nice. I'll get that tip from you in a second, Alberto. My palm, the game gato. Let's see. Based off of popular IP. Okay. Is it a horror game? Did I ask that?
You didn't ask that, and no, it's not a horror game.
Okay. Let's see here. Ooh. Is it based off of Star Wars?
It is based on Star Wars.
Oh, nice. You got him, LC255.
Yeah, I did.
Is it? Let's see here. Let me make sure, because that's the only one with teleportation and stuff. Is it Vader Immortal?
It is Vader Immortal.
Yes.
Good job, Beats. I saw that. I was like,
hell
what?
yeah, LC2552 Beats.
Yep.
You rock. You guys,
Absolutely.
all of you really rock. Popular IP helped. Teleportation helped. You guys are amazing, man. I love you guys.
Absolutely. Really good stuff. What was Alberto Mapum's tip? He said, I just realized we're some months away from having PSVR 20 questions with the questions, is it PSVR 2 compatible or exclusive? That is pretty fucking awesome, man. Our whole world is going to change. We don't even know how to play this game anymore. And then we won't even know how to do top 20 lists anymore. Speaking of which, at the end of this month, we're gonna have to do
Pinball
that.
crossed my mind, and so did the other ones, but they don't have move support. So
Right. And also, pinball even pinball has full locomotion.
Fucking ILMX Labs bastards. They're like so talented. Why wouldn't they just do that? I can't be mad at them because Vader Immortal is actually really sweet. I played the Dojo 2 this weekend.
Yeah.
And Dojo 2, you're like, you're using all the traps in the room. I think you told me about that before because I never got into Dojo 2, or somebody said they really like Dojo 2.
Oh, Dojo 2
because
great.
of all the
Yeah,
all the traps. I've beaten Dojo 3. I haven't beaten the other two, but I played the 2, and it was super cool. Like using all the crushing trap, the electric trap, and then the fan that like sucks stuff into it. Really fun time. God, what a gorgeous game. That game is probably the most impressive lighting I've ever seen in any game ever.
that's pretty good. Why don't you read this tip?
You got cold yogurt?
That's why.
God, it feels good to say that again. $5 donation says the VR wars have begun. The VR wars have begun.
I'm glad you did the Yoda voice. That's good because I wouldn't have been able to do that very well. Nice, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and discussing, some speculation on PlayStation VR2. There's going to be a whole lot of speculation, but it won't be very long until all of our questions get answered. I'm so excited to be taking finally. For the first time in 6 years, people fucking hate when I say this. For the first time in 6 years, taking a step forward to the next gen of VR has not moved at all in 6 years. Nope. People really hate that.
Yes.
AJ, stop it! You're making me feel weird.
Yes.
I don't even know what to say.
Am I awakening something in you?
Awakening my desire to end the show. For the first time in an hour and 22 minutes, I'm done. Guys, thank you so much, everybody who helps us out, supports us on patreon.com/withoutparolegames and gets their name on that list down below. Also, thank you to all of our moderators who help make everything run. Sci-Fi Gamecat Henry for all the timestamps. Obviously, this guy over here, AJ, from PSVR Underground, couldn't do this shit without him. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. And also, all of you out there who help us out. Not only just 20 questions and hang out in the chat, but also support us financially by donating during the show. We really fucking appreciate you. But also, we even appreciate you if you don't. All those people out there who watched the show, sat back, didn't say a goddamn word. We know you're out there, and we love you just as much. Just like we love the Fenner PSVR with his $2 tip says PSVR 2 is coming, like spring break. AJ? Can we cue the
Cue the cap, Brian, because I want to say have a wonderful weekend to X Pacer X, says Brian's lightsaber came out when he heard Nick, you love the Gamecat boycott. There's something called boycott Activision. I can't say boycott, apparently. I kept saying boycott.
I mean, we trained
Star
you
Wars
well.
prequels is better than the OG Star Wars. That's a hot take, boycott Activision. You're not going to get anyone to help join your boycott with that. Time to play with Gamecats. Another great show. Thank you so much, man. Time to play with Gamecats. Have a great night. John Savino still waiting for your hand in marriage, Brian, apparently.
Whoa. I'm free. I'm free. Yeah, just send me a message.
Alejandro likes my shirt. Thank you so much. Alejandro, thank you. I dig this shirt too. I got it from the clearance rack, and it's got the sacred symbols of life all over it. Mark Pringles Leaf, thank you so much, man. David the Gamecat runs. I've been peeking in on your Borderlands 2 speedrunning. Good job, man. Carlos Vieja, man, it feels good to say that again. Chris Brinkley, big heart to you as well. Guy son, fist bump to you. Brax Bro, as always, in case I don't see you later. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. The Fenner PSVR, my boy, you're my boy, Endeavor One. Thank you guys so much for hanging out today. Arashi Hype, DJ, the Pumpkin Patch Kid, GG, PPO Kojima, the Silent Hill Gamecat, Tornado is a god of a cat, he says.
Goddess.
Emily
Goddess,
Baxter.
yeah.
Hashtag the cartoony game witch kitten. Cue the whiskers, she says. Dan Keever, sleep well to you as well. Pietrek 2, you have a great night. Virtual strangers, have a great night, my friends. Wonder Rob, stay wonderful, as well as you. Gabriel 004, the lights meow game cat. Meow, 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 meow. Meow,
Never
meow,
gets old.
Meow, meow.
Dude, I gotta take a piss. Can we end the show? I really gotta piss. I think I've had to piss since like 6:42.